a spawn that is mostly used for solo EKs, but is a pretty good alternative for duos as well. This is the Kilmaresh Catacombs. This spawn is located in Isabi, but in order to do the full lap of the spawn and unlock its full potential, you will need to do some questing, in particular the Kilmaresh quest up until you complete the one last favor, where you get the masks that are needed in order to unlock the doors inside the catacombs. All of this is doable easily at this low range, and if you wish to complete the questline, you can get the Griffin mount and the Citizen of Isabi outfit. Let me know in the comments if I should make a quest guide for that, but for now, back to this hunting guide. There is only 2 creatures in this spawn, which are quite evenly split, so praise are good for both of them, and around 6 hours should be enough to complete the bestiary. Defensively, as the EK, the damage you take is mostly physical, followed by holy and energy. The druid doesn't take much damage if done properly, and when hit is mostly physical damage as well. So defensive imbuements are only recommended if you find the spawn too difficult, but it should be pretty doable with proper equipment, which by going for a level 400 recommendation, hopefully you have access to death weapons, as they are both weak to death and the EK can do a lot of damage with these. As for the druid, you can get by with mostly spells and some avalanches, but both the EK and ED should carry some wall runes, for some pools in particular. Now with that said, let's break down the lab. Starting with the entrance closest to the stairs, down into -2, then split up with ED luring from the north and EK luring from the southeast, then meet it up here where the druid hides behind a tree wall. After that pool, go into the hall and straight into the room northeast. EK grabs what he can and gets in position inside the room. Meanwhile, the druid brings the remaining monsters off the hall, and if needed, there is spots to hide behind the tree walls to drop aggro on the EK. For the next pool, go through the door southeast, and this one tends to get messy because of the initial 2-square hallway. Push your way through and line up with this open space. That will leave a space for the creatures to get to the EK, while offering some safe spots for the druid with a tree wall if needed. But most of the times, going back and forth dropping the creatures on the EK is the best approach. Next up, go through the door south and the pool is right here to the left. For this, the EK just needs to get to the spot before the creatures, and then they will be coming on their own after the druid passes by. Use a wall to block the path of creatures to the north so that the druid can stay there. If he goes to the left, the wave will be caught by the wall and makes the pool worse. Then follow the path until you get to the intersection and go north into the room. For this one, the safest spot requires 2 walls, so the EK should place a magic wall to the north, and it's up to the druid to complete the trap if necessary. Sometimes he's able to stay south without going into the room, or tanking the extra creature just fine. Next pool is to the left following the path. This one also gets messy because of the lack of space for creatures. Because of the no PvP server, I will place a wall on the northwest for the druid to diagonal through, and then I can rest the creatures that follows in. Optionally, you can be 1 square further south and then sidestep to make room for creatures. I prefer the first one even if you're not in a no PvP server, because it will give more room for creatures. After this pool, go through the door, ED goes north and lures the creatures nearby. Meanwhile, EK goes ahead to the northeast and grabs the creatures from that big room, then meet up in front of these tombs, with the safest spot for the druid. After this, since at least on the lower level range, the druid struggles to make the lure better, you will be left with 4 to 5 creatures, and then an extra pool must be done, because running through that will be too risky. But once you are able to lure some of these to the previous pool, then leaving 1 or 2 creatures to run through is just fine. Then go through the door and EK pick your head to the hall to the east. And optionally, the druid can do the same with the northwest room. But for the druid to be able to lure more from the northwest, then a bit more levels are required on the EK, as he is left alone longer, so keep that in mind and adapt to your level range. Eventually looking like this. You can see that now I'm peeking further into the hole to bring more, and so is the druid. But before I get bugs, if he's not back yet, then I won't let myself get trapped. And then on the subject of adapting to your level range, if you feel like overkilling is starting to happen, aka you notice missing creatures in some pools, then you can make some changes. After the pool on the northwest, go up to the rope spot and then EK lures the creatures on the way to this room. Meanwhile, ED grabs a bit extra from the north side and optionally sometimes even from the south of that room. And then after that pool, once again split up, EK going through the south hall and grabbing creatures on the way. Meanwhile, ED goes east of the previous pool and then lures the northeast side. For this one, place 1 wall to block the path of the creatures to the left side, but optionally you could make a safe spot for the druid on the corner, although that one is worse for waving, so it's not recommended. And with those extra pulls, the lap should be enough for up to level 600s, but if it starts feeling worse, you can add yet another pull by going up to the surface and doing a pull with the creatures there. So overall, it can be a great spot for duos starting from 400 until 700s or so. The experience for me at the time was of around 4kk raw at low 400s without the death weapon, and up to 5kk by low 500s with the proper weapon, although unfortunately since when these recordings took place, the spawn has received a nerf, with Sphinx getting a 7% experience reduction and slightly more resistant to death attacks, but with creep wardens remaining the same, I don't expect that much of a difference. In terms of profit, the spawn is pretty bad, with around 250k profit the hour more or less, so it is mostly a spawn for experience, which optionally could be done with a mid-level 300 team. Although I never got to try it with a 4-man, I did have some 3-man hunts on the low 400 range, with a raw experience of around the 4kks. So if you do end up trying the spawn, share with us in the comments below your results. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to the Guild Causality, Nightstar and Tuna Hero for supporting the channel directly.